Hello, my name is Brian Schell, and I'm here to talk to you about mental health, mental illness, and their perspectives. Now, as an Ann Arbor author, this is one of my books, which is called Daily Common Sense. It was titled because a lady once said, not enough people have common sense, and I started writing a daily inspirational book about it. And on July 21st, the title is called Voices in the Dark. And it says, hearing voices is a controversial topic in the psychiatric world. Their favorite question to those they think may need treatment is, do you hear voices? To me, that's a trick question. That's because any answer can be a pitfall. If you admit to it, hearing voices of conscience, a whole can of worms might get open that cause red flags to be raised and documented in some psychiatric profile that they keep on file for years and decades. Often, such answers can be taken out of context and blown out of proportion. If you joke that you're the only Fruit Loop in a bowl of Cheerios, you never know if somebody's going to take that statement with literal seriousness. The same thing with being a French fry short of a Happy Meal. But then Charles Bukowski, who is kind of a poet, one of his quotes was up on a billboard in Santa Monica, and it said, some people never go crazy. What truly horrible lives they must lead. Or as Billy Joel might say, you may be right. I may be crazy, but just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Now, the thing about insanity is that there's no medical equipment that you can take a scientific piece of equipment, put it on somebody, and it registers that you're paranoid schizophrenic or that you're manic depressive or bipolar. Really, sanity is not truth. Sanity is the conformity to what is socially expected. And so insanity varies from culture to culture, and so does insanity does, and so does sanity. And so it's the ability to see reality. And the insane person is often said that they're running a private movie or a private show that they happen to like than what society is presenting. And as an author, that's one thing that I get in trouble with, is that because I've been in the psychiatric world 4 times, and as an author, I'm supposed to hear voices. I'm supposed to hear the voices of my characters. I'm supposed to hear the voice of conscience. And if I answer to them that way, there are different perspectives of if I'm mentally ill or mentally healthy. Now, as somebody who was a high performer in school, has gotten a lot of straight A's and a lot of scholarships, I'm very high performing, and so is it like a high performing autism that I may have? But that's the thing. If there were only one insane person in the world, would they be considered crazy? No, because insanity is in relation to others and how they act. And oftentimes, the insane person, people try to help somebody who has been labeled mentally ill, but that mentally ill person may sink the lifeboats that you're trying to send them. And if they keep sinking these lifeboats, then pretty soon you kind of walk away. And so, is a psychotic episode, is this perceived insanity permanent? And really, when I was in one psych ward, the person inside said, no, we're just waiting for you to reach stabilization. Is that if you have a psychotic episode in which you don't know how to handle it or how to react afterwards, you may be mentally ill. But just one psychotic episode, one salient point, may not mean permanent insanity. And so our perspectives need to change. And with that, the author of Zen Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, which was a very good book, the author kind of went insane, and he went into in a psychiatric ward, and he ended up writing this, which is Lila. As you can see, my book falls apart because I've read it so many times. And I bought this book brand new in 1991 at the Borders at State and Liberty. And you can see that worn out book reveals a life that isn't. But if there were one book on the psychiatric experience that I would recommend that doctors read, it's this one. Because this book talks about going into that world and its perceptions. It's like he talks about the lifeboat challenge. That if somebody is sinking the lifeboats that you send out, will you keep sending them out? And an insane person often sees things in a different way. So like when I went to the Michigan Theater, I got this bucket, complimentary bucket, and I saw it as a drum. And so what is a bucket to others is a drum to me. And you may be right, I may be crazy, but it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. There are no scientific detectors that you could put on somebody and that registers what they are. It's all perception, and it's relative to the conformity within society that we rule if somebody is mentally healthy or mentally ill. But if they're having an episode in which they don't know how to handle the pressure that is internal, that could just be one episode, one salient point in something that is, well, would be considered a mentally ill point when actually you are mentally healthy. And with that said, Ann Arbor, thank you so much. I appreciate you.